So the Trump tariffs are officially back, and trade wars between the United States and Europe is intensifying over Greenland. In today's video, we're going to discuss how all of that is going to affect the overall market. I don't know if y'all know this, but if you look at TradingView or Thinkorswim, the futures are down. All right. Will it go lower? Let's talk about it real quick. Now, right off the bat, we got the Nasdaq, and in the last video, the video that I released on Wednesday afternoon, I warned you guys a big move down is coming. All right. It took about 2 business days to really drop. This move right here that we're seeing today, I thought it would occur because of TSM not doing well through earnings. I was wrong about that. All right. But the market makers put out another news to justify the move that was expected anyways. That's why I was so bearish during the last video and the video before that. So this right here makes sense. It's on time. It's on time. I was a little bit early, but everything is moving according to what I thought it would. That line of resistance at 25,900 held, rejected. Now we're down here. Will we go lower in a straight line? Obviously not. The way the market tends to move is it tends to zigzag. So right now we're down. Tomorrow, you shouldn't be too greedy. You shouldn't be too greedy. It's going to give another chance. When I move this to the 5-minute, it's going to give another chance, like a good chance for all of the short sellers from Friday to cover and take their money off the table back down here, or maybe even at 25,200 before rebounds intraday, I think. All right, so don't get too greedy to the short side on Monday. On Tuesday, that's another story. But actually, no, today's Monday. So Tuesday, don't get too greedy. Wednesday, that will be another story. There could be an even bigger opportunity down. Okay, so that's my thoughts on the Nasdaq. Let's check out the VIX real quick. Let's see how that one is behaving. VIX. So currently this is the 19. Yeah, we see a jump. It's up by about 20%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's up about 20%. So level of resistance for the VIX way up here. How fast is it going to get up there? I don't know. I can tell you that now. I really can't. Will we fill the gap down here first, maybe on Wednesday, before we climb back up here on Thursday and Friday? Right, that's a possibility. And that's something to actually consider as you are approaching the markets. But so far, that's how the VIX is looking. And now let's check out the SPY. And yeah, the SPY is officially bearish. The bears have taken complete control of the SPY. And again, I mentioned 6,900 at first. I think I mentioned that on the 12th. Because the structure intraday on the 4-hour was so narrow, and we are officially there. Next level down for the SPY itself is right here, 6,770. It's going to play games. It's going to chop. All right. What we don't know is whether we drop here or whether we drop here. All right. That's what we don't know. But this is almost a guarantee. This chop right here. Now let's talk about a stock for tomorrow that y'all should be keeping in your watches and that could provide a decent trading opportunity intraday. That stock is going to be Tesla. I'm going to share one stock that I don't have and one stock that I do have. All right. So first and foremost, Tesla. This is the one stock that I don't have. I thought about it, and by don't have, I mean put options. All right. I thought about buying puts on Friday after this drop right here, but the structure looked a little bit sus, a little narrow, and something else looked better. But it's playing out. It's playing out. It's breaking down. It broke down on Friday, and it's falling right now. All right, it's falling below 435. So on Tuesday tomorrow, watch for a retest. If it keeps rejecting and then closing below 430, this thing is definitely gonna drop down to like 420 again. And when we look at the daily, next level of support is way down here. All right, so 420 will be down here. And also when I look at this, there is a head and shoulders on the daily. So we have a neckline right there. This is a neckline, and then we have the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder right here. And right now we're opening lower. And I think the market makers are going to continue to release more and more bad press just to continue this, like, to increase the selling pressure so that we can go lower and lower and lower to end the month of January. Okay, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Tesla. Now, with the stock that I do have, the stock that I bought puts on, that one is Apple. And I bought Apple puts for this specific reason right here. All right. With Apple puts, I mentioned last week multiple times that there was a gap at 252. And on Friday, it formed, or at least between Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it formed this new structure, this bearish, this descending triangle on the 1 hour time frame that broke down at 9 a.m., retested at 1 p.m., and then closed below this level of resistance. It closed below 257. Therefore, I decided to buy puts on there with my price target being 252.5. Right now, when we go back to here, it's already down. It's almost near it. So I expect a retest of that low. I expect it to be a little bit more generous, especially during these times. The market can be generous to shorts. So something like this, followed by a push to the upside, is what I'm expecting. I'm not gonna get greedy. I am gonna sell, like, as soon as it gives me the chance to sell at 252, or maybe even a little bit below 252, just to take care of that gap on the left. And y'all should have this too, because I did give this to y'all throughout all of these days, and I warned you guys about the rejection of 262, 263-ish. I warned you guys about that. So as far as I'm concerned, a lot of y'all should be having puts on this thing. And this gap is gonna get filled. Is there more gaps to get filled below? There is one at 234, but that's for another video, and we might need another structure in order to justify a move down, or earnings might be the reason why it tinks down there fast. Okay, so that's my thoughts on Apple. Now let's do an update about the stock that I was wrong about. I told you all about the possibility that I could be wrong on this earnings reaction. Everything on the chart was bullish. Everything was like the weekly, the daily, all of it. And I did say, yeah, there could be a possibility that we hit 350. It could be, and it did. I wanted this drop right here, but the stock had other plans. And right now, the only good news is that the volume is increasing, which is nice. Eventually, it's going to get weak, and then it's gonna roll over. This structure right here, that gap isn't good for it, and eventually it's gonna get filled. So I have alerts. I'm gonna move this to 342. I have alerts on there. I'm probably gonna move this up right here. If that rings, I will be very interested in taking a day trade from 340 down to 330 at some point next week, just to take care of this gap right here. Okay, it's not a guarantee, but I just have my alerts on there just in case. Okay, so that's my thoughts on it. I was wrong about it, and we'll see what it does next. Now, the next stock that we gotta look at, Palantir. I explained to you guys on, I believe it was Sunday, on why I thought Dr. Burry's short position was actually a smart move and why I was bearish on it. I showed y'all the weekly chart, actually. Yeah, the weekly chart is what I showed y'all, and I warned you guys about the potential break below 172. It closed at 170, and now we're opening at 168. There is a head and shoulders on here, a massive one, a very clean one too, on here. All right, so be very careful. Either earnings is going to cause this thing to tank down to 130, or it's gonna get there before earnings. I think earnings is gonna be the reason why it falls aggressively like that. I expect something like this. That's what I expect. Nothing too major, nothing too aggressive. So now the last stock that we're gonna discuss in today's video, we're gonna go back to one of the Dow Jones stocks, Caterpillar. And since one of y'all mentioned it, I have been looking at it from afar for a potential drop. And I think we're gonna get that drop sooner rather than later. The fact that we're opening lower is a good thing. It's a really, really good thing, right? I told y'all that it looked a little bit sus because of the location of the ascending triangle. It actually went all the way up to 655 later on in the week, but now it's about to open below 640. It's about to leave a gap at the top. We might see a little bit of a push intraday, all right, but the next few days are critical for the stock, and I think it's gonna come back down and retest support and maybe even break it. So a retest of like 620, maybe even 615 before earnings, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So keep your eyes on Caterpillar. It is a strong stock, but you gotta take everything into consideration. Every stock, every sector, and also the news or the excuse that market makers put out in order to accelerate a move to one direction, in this case to the downside. So that's my very honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. If you disagree with anything that I've mentioned in this video, you can find me in the comment section below. We can argue down there. All right, once again, I'm not your financial advisor. Do your own research. All right, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. All right, and that's okay. Again, if you're looking to argue with me, we will meet in the comments section. Don't forget to like and follow for more.